Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Yo, what up, Bolt fam? It's the director. Chargers fans, hey guys, it's a good day, dudes. I told you guys in cut weekend that the Chargers are likely going to be looking at a bunch of the cut players from this weekend to maybe add to their roster, and they did just that today with Sony Michel, who is now signed with the Chargers. Man, this is a pretty big one, dude. This one does carry a lot of positive consequences going into the season, because if you guys remember earlier in the year, I talked about how deadly serious the Chargers have been about solving this running back 2 position, and honestly, it does feel like that's the exact reason the Chargers added a guy like Sony Michel, who honestly, dudes, it's going to add some value this season. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking down what the signing means for Sony Michel, as well as give a couple more updates. As I've been recording this video, I had to restart a couple of times. We've been getting some more good news. So we got maybe some news updates, but mostly I want to talk about how Sony Michel is going to affect this team going forward and what this means for the Chargers team and their mentality on offense going into the 2022 season. Now, a couple reminders before we jump into the video, guys. For one, again, I have to stress this. If you guys do not have a way to watch your live NFL games this season, please get set up ahead of time, whether it be, you know, the NFL Sunday ticket with NFL Plus, whatever it may be. My personal recommendation is definitely through NFL Game Pass, and to get that working in the States, you're going to need a VPN as well, so check out the sponsor in the link below, as well as if you guys want to get ready, we got a couple giveaways around the corner, so if you guys want to get ready for that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and for you guys in my crew, also keep a heads up for that. We are going to have some fun jerseys and stuff to give away here very soon. Now, before we do kick off, guys, question in the comments: how many yards and touchdowns do you think Sony Michel goes for in 2022? Very simple. Combined, you know, running and passing all together. You squish together how many yards and touchdowns for Sony Michel. Before we do kick off, guys, hit us up with a like and sub. If you do enjoy this Chargers content, small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Breaking news, the Chargers have officially signed Sony Michel to the roster, likely going forward as their running back too. But again, like I mentioned, there's some other good news coming around the corner right now too, man. For one, the Chargers have maintained wide receiver Michael Bandy, who was added to their practice squad after going unclaimed on waivers. This is great news, man. Again, a good day. It's a good day to be a Chargers fan. Fan favorite of the preseason. He remains with the team. Shockingly, nobody else picked him up, which is very, very nice. The Chargers can call on him if needed throughout the season. So that's pretty good, man. Welcome back, Michael Bandy. Additionally, while recording this video, I also stumbled across this tweet of the Chargers 14 players on the practice squad. And I actually haven't taken a good look at this yet. So really quickly, before we get into the Sony Michel stuff, let's take a look and see who the Chargers were able to maintain. And there's some good players on here, man. I'm not going to lie. I just noticed Christian Covington. He went unclaimed. Wow, dudes. I got to be honest, of all the players I thought were going to get scooped up right away, it was going to be Christian Covington. For him to make the practice squad is actually very significant. We got Zach Bailey, Michael Bandy, of course, Joe Gaziano, defensive lineman. That's a pretty good ad right there. Keemon Hall, Michael Jackett, which tells me they like something about him. Maybe him and Dean Leonard, you know, kind of that 1A, 1B if they have to call on him. Hunter Kampmoyer, welcome back, man, the former Oregon Duck. Carlo Kemp, who was one of those preseason standouts as well. Welcome back. Raheem Lane. Oh, thank goodness, man. The Chargers have some potential, you know, backups to call upon if they need to. Raheem Lane, one of those standouts as well. Tyreek Maddox-Williams, Jason Moore, Joe Reed, Foster Sorrell, and Mark Webb. Thank you to the Chargers gods for allowing these players to stick with the team, man. I was really upset about Mark Webb and Michael Bandy and Christian Covington. Those are the top 3 guys. I was like, man, we should have signed them to the 53. Shockingly, all 3 of them make him back onto the practice squad, which is nothing but good news for Chargers fans. So good day to be a Chargers fan, man. So on top of that, the cream on top, right? The creme de la creme. Chargers did add Sony Michel to the roster. And I kind of wanted to lightly touch on this. It's not going to be the longest video in the world, but I kind of wanted to talk about what this means for the Chargers offense going forward, okay? To reiterate what I said at the top of the video, what I've been saying since the top of the preseason, the Chargers deadly serious about running back 2. And I think a lot of it has to do with protecting who they have at running back 1 in Austin Ekeler. Of course, Austin Ekeler, the fantasy stud, right? The dude went out there and put up 20 touchdowns. He's an absolute beast. But you don't want to wear him out, right? You want to make sure you got a guy in there to rotate. It feels like the NFL is maybe transitioning away from this idea that you can have a do-it-all running back, a guy in like a bell cow, right? There's only a few of them left in the NFL, like Najee Harris, because of their situation. Well, the Chargers didn't want to be one of those teams. And it feels like it follows the line of Brandon Staley's mentality of trying to keep everybody healthy. You want to keep Austin Eckler's legs fresh as long as you can. You want to keep him healthy as long as you can. So you got to bring in a capable backup that can do one of two things. One, rotate in with an Austin Ekeler to help keep him healthy and fresh. And number 2, to provide a skill set that maybe doesn't exist as a strength on the roster. And that, to me, since the top of the preseason, has always been someone that can run between the tackles, right? Somebody that can generate yards, those tough earned yards at the goal line, 3rd and short, 4th and short, those tough power backs, right? I don't know if I would 100% classify Sony Michel as a power back, but he's closer to that than he is a different archetype, right? He is a very tough running back, a guy that you can rely upon in between the tackles, and it's something that the Los Angeles Rams depended on him for just last season. And of course, the Chargers and Rams do follow a very similar style when it comes to their defense. You can say the same thing about their offense too. So a lot of things about Sony Michel fit what this team wanted, what this team needed, and what this team is going to use in 2022. So let's get into the brass tacks, right? Of course, director pulled up some numbers. Oh, sit down, guys. Get ready for school. Get ready for class. Honestly, you know, again, this just happened. I'm kind of going off the cuff here. We don't have like all the notes and stuff in the world, but I wanted to go through with you guys and kind of take a look at some of his numbers, right? Maybe an underwhelming player for the New England Patriots as a running back 1, but with the LA Rams, it really did seem like he found new life as a running back to a backup because, of course, last season the Rams, I wouldn't say in a similar situation as the Chargers, kind of, but not really, whereas they had the running back 1 and Cam Akers, of course, didn't play the whole season, maybe got, like 1 snap in. Behind him, you had Darrell Henderson, who also was pretty good, but at the same time, he couldn't stay healthy either. Then you enter a guy like Sony Michel, who honestly really did pick up a lot of that slack and ran with it. There's one number on here that I wanted to highlight for you guys that gives me a lot of hope, and it tells me a lot about what the Chargers want from Sony Michel. You take a look right here. Last season, 17 games played, 7 started, 208 rushing attempts for 845 yards. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. 4 touchdowns, but the big number I wanted to highlight is this one right here, 4.1 yards per carry. That's pretty significant. That's what you're looking for in terms of a guy that can run in between the tackles, a guy that can generate tough yardage. 4.1 yards per carry is very, very nice. And again, that complements what Austin Ekeler can do. Sony Michel gives you options, right? And this is a lot about what we talked about with Isaiah Spiller, who, again, we're going to talk about Spiller here in just a second. What the Chargers needed was a guy that can complement Austin Ekeler's skill set. Austin Ekeler is the kind of guy that you're going to want to create space for on the outside, an outside zone runner, right? So if you can give him some space on the outside, create opportunities for him to get free, he's gone, right? He's one of those guys that can take it from the underneath all the way to the house, and that also includes his skill set as a receiver. I think the Chargers have really dialed in on what Austin Ekeler is as a player, and that to me is a receiving back, a guy that you want to create space for, you know, as a runner, but also give plenty of opportunities for in the receiving game. And that really feels like it fits what the Chargers want to do offensively. They're more of a passing team at this point. But the Chargers also need to give themselves options. They need to give themselves a guy that runs a little bit more traditionally, right? Runs with a little bit more power, a little bit more size. And I feel like that's where Sony Michel steps in. For one, Sony Michel adds the option for the Chargers to hand it off to your running back. Him and Xander Horvath and Isaiah Spiller are all going to work in unison to help the Chargers churn out tough yardage. Okay, and Sony Michel is the most proven running back on the roster behind Austin Ekeler that can generate yards like that. And I do feel like that's going to come into play this season. So all of a sudden, you're looking at a guy like Brandon Staley, who normally, let's say it's 4th and 1, right? And the Chargers are at, let's say they're the enemies or the opponent's like 44. And it's a situation where you have to go for it. Well, all of a sudden, you can throw Sony Michel out there, even if he's a distraction, right? Maybe it's a play action. Just having Sony Michel out there gets the defense to think, oh, crap, they're probably going to be running this, right? We're going to have to plug up the middle. But the big thing that I love about Sony Michel, additionally to this, is that he does have receiving upside as well. Take a look at this. 21 receptions for 128 yards, 6.1 yards per reception, and a touchdown. That's great, man. That's great. You can also pass it to Sony Michel if you need to kind of keep your opponent on their toes. And having these options for a guy like Brandon Staley, who likes to take risks, he likes to add pieces to his team to improve his odds, because this guy really thinks about this game analytically. This is a great ad. This is a great signing, because Sony Michel is going to have a role with this team. Now, additionally to that, really quick, before we start getting into guys like Joshua Kelly, Larry Roundtree, and Isaiah Spiller, what it means for those guys, I did kind of want to highlight, some of the games by Sony Michel last season with the Los Angeles Rams. And of course, you're going to see games like this, 21 attempts, 43 yards, only 2 yards a carry. That sucked. But look what it was against. San Francisco 49ers. Let's take a look versus the Baltimore Ravens. 19 attempts for 74 yards, 3.9 a carry, and 1 touchdown. That's versus a very good Baltimore Ravens defense. Minnesota Vikings, 131 and a tutty. Seattle Seahawks, 18 for 92. Right, some very nice numbers. Jacksonville, who doesn't have the best, defensive line, at least last season, 121 and a touchdown. And then, of course, he got limited carries once Darrell Henderson came back into the fold. But then later on in the season, he did get another uptick of opportunities on the ground as well. So either way, what I'm trying to say is that when Sony Michel was called upon, 20, 24, 18, 27 carries, he produced. He produced very, very well. And that's not exactly what he's going to be asked to do with the Chargers. You can almost say that, he is the running back too, in my opinion at this point, yes. And he is going to get a decent amount of carries. I think that Sony Michel, you could maybe peg him for like 150 to 200 carries this season in unison with an Austin Eckler. And that's going to carry some significant upside for the team. And it's not because of any lack of faith in Austin Eckler. It's because of what Sony Michel can do. So the numbers do kind of prove his skill set, what the Chargers are going to want to use him for, and where his spot is going to be on the team. Now, what does that mean for guys like Joshua Kelly? What does that mean for guys like Larry Roundtree and Isaiah Spiller? Well, very briefly, okay? Isaiah Spiller is still the dude for me. Isaiah Spiller is the guy that I feel like is going to develop into a player that is used very significantly going forward. The only issue is he wasn't healthy to start the year. And this opened up a door for the Chargers to say, hey, man, he's a little bit banged up. Let's go get a running back 2 for this season. Let's make sure we got a reliable guy while Isaiah Spiller smooths his way into the NFL. That gives him a full year to play behind Sony Michel and possibly Joshua Kelly. So Isaiah Spiller is your star of the future. He's the Sony Michel role of the future. But what about a guy like Joshua Kelly, right? Well, Joshua Kelly, unfortunately, I think he gets bumped down to running back 3. And a guy like Larry Roundtree, I think, is going to get cut altogether. So the Chargers starting running backs are going to look as such. Austin Eckler, Sony Michel, then Joshua Kelly, and then Isaiah Spiller. I think at least for right now. And that's a very, very strong 4 running backs for any team. I think that's going to look really, really nasty. And honestly, again, it gives the Chargers all the flexibility in the world to run Brandon Staley's vision, his scheme, what he wants to do with the team. And really is kind of that final piece for the running back room that they've been looking for. So for me, I'm going to say Sony Michel is going to be our running back 2, at least for this season. It's going to push everybody down the depth chart just a little bit. But I do think it opens up a window for Isaiah Spiller and Joshua Kelly to continue elevating for next season. And then, of course, they have the depth variable is also in there as well. The Chargers look really, really good at running back all of a sudden, and it's because of a signing like Sony Michel. This is a very, very nice move here. So Sony Michel, taking a look at some of the opponents he's going to be facing this season: Raiders, Chiefs, Jaguars. I'll just highlight the ones I think are going to be a bit tough to run against. The Browns, the Broncos twice, the Niners, of course, maybe the Colts and the Rams. So I would say more than half the games, more than half the games this season, I think Sony Michel is going to have himself a nice opportunity to do what he does as a running back. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on it. Again, kind of just spitballing with you guys, kind of trying to figure out what his role is going to be with the team, but it's a good day, man. The Chargers do sign Sony Michel. Again, I do anticipate him being the running back 2 for this team. We got ourselves Michael Bandy back. We got ourselves a slew of really nice players back onto the practice squad. It's a good day to be a Chargers fan. I'm actually going to go ahead and check my notifications right now just to make sure we didn't miss anything else kind of crazy, because my phone's buzzing like like nuts right now. I think we are good, man. And corresponding move, the Chargers are waiving Larry Roundtree. Okay, there it is, guys. Let me see if I can actually pull it up right here. Which, of course, is something that was going to have to happen to make some more room for him. So who knows, guys? Maybe the Chargers aren't done. Maybe there's more moves to be made to improve their special teams. But so far, so good. So you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think he goes for. I'm going to say Sony Michel goes for 720 yards. I'm actually going to give him like 6 touchdowns, though. I think he's going to be a goal line guy. I think the Chargers are going to want to hand it off to somebody with a little bit more oomph at the goal line. And I think, Xander Horvath's going to get his little share as well, but I think the majority of them are going to go to your running back too in Sony Michel. So you guys let me know in the comment section what your stats are for that. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Hit us up with the like and sub on your way out if you did enjoy this content. And remember, make sure you hit that like and sub button. Make sure you guys sub, as we do have some giveaways around the corner. Should be a lot of fun. And also make sure you guys are set up well ahead of time and how you're going to be watching your live NFL programming this season. I would highly recommend ExpressVPN combined with NFL Game Pass. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. Welcome back, Michael Bandy, and welcome to the team, Sony Michel.